everyone, I hope you are doing well in this lovely spring. Yesterday it was 19 degrees out, so I went to the park and I filmed a bunch of B-roll footage of flowers and sky and trees and all to get some inspiration for the ink choice of the month. So as I told you last time, I'm now currently choosing a few ink every month, and it allows me to have a rotation between the pen that I use and also to use all the ink in my cartridges instead of having them dry out. So today I'm going to take you through my process, and together we will choose the ink I'm going to use throughout the month of May. So I showed you a while ago my ink journal. This is where I put the currently ink. As you can see, in 2021 I had these many inked pen at the same time. As you can see, a few of them are very similar, and yeah, it was just not manageable, and I don't want to be washing my pens all the time. And also the current apartment I'm at is very dry, so my pen would dry out super fast. So here you can see what I had inked in the last month. It was very springy. I think that for May I want a little more purples. So next to my little nail polish collection, you can see my ink bottles. Those are the ones who still are in the box. And I have this other box, so many boxes. There's other box, which is full of cartridges and samples and little cards. Let's get some ink out and swatch them around and see what we want to be using for the month of May. I really love when fountain pen stores give you the ability to get samples, because I want to buy all the ink bottles, but it gets expensive and sometimes you just try them out and compare them. I got most of mine through Wonder Pens, which is one of my favorite fountain pen stores in Canada. So here I have a mixed media notebook. I use these for swatching because I find that often on paper, if I put too much ink, it bleeds through and I don't have fancy paper like the Tomoe River. I just have like Rhodia and my bullet journal, and I find that you can still get some of the sheen on the mixed media paper, and I don't mind playing around with those. So I just got a little brush and my water, and we'll do some swatching around as I talk about the different ink that I've got here that I think are very spring-like. So first I wanted to talk about Hana Ikada, which I got a few months ago, and I think I used it almost every month. I'm so in love with that ink. It's like cherry blossom color. Do a little tulip shape. This will allow me to also talk about how I choose. If it's ink first or fountain pen first. And it really depends. Sometimes I want to use a certain fountain pen, and other times I decide that if there's an ink like this one, which is very pale, I will need to get a wetter pen. I found that it works really great in the Platinum Cool, the medium nib. I can get a more saturated color. I mean, it's such a lovely pink. It's quite funny because I was thinking about Yama Budo before going on my walk yesterday, and it's a really dark ink, so I didn't think it was appropriate for this May ink choice, but I saw many tulips that were like a deeper fuchsia color, and I really think that depending on which fountain pen you use it, sometimes it can be a really like deep wine color, but it can also be more on the fuchsia if you use a drier pen. So for this one, if you want to get the lighter color, I found that the Plaisir, with the fine nib that it has and a pretty like dry and even flow, it's a good choice. Also, the Caran is quite dry and has a big nib, so you can see more of the color, and So if you have a drier Lamy or a drier like Kaweco part, you can really get the more fuchsia color. Let me see if I have like in there. You see that's in the platinum cool, so you can get more of the shading. In my Lilliput, it was a little drier. So who could talk about spring without greens. So I used them in the past month, so I'm not sure I'm gonna use green this time, but you can see. So those are two of my favorite greens. There is Vert Pré, which is from the Herbin, and it's such a lovely bright green. There's a lot of yellow in there. For this one, you really have to put it in a wetter pen. Last month, I put it in the Platinum Plaisir, and it was hard to read. I would recommend a broader and wetter nib. This one is a blue or green, but it's still pretty vibrant. Could also go for an in-between, like a turquoise shade that has more shading. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but I'm just having fun. I feel that this one would be less a May color, but I love that Sailor inks. So pretty. Feels more like mermaidy. As you can see, it shifts into more of a lilac color. This is my other Sailor ink. With that, I really feel like pastels and purples are appropriate for the month of May. That came out darker than I would have expected. It's just because I put down a lot of. I saw a Reddit post recently. It was about nail polish, but I think I can jump on the subject and use it. The person was like, what can you do to enjoy the nail polish hobby but without buying nail polish or using it? This is more about using your inks. But I think that it's all fun to buy pens and inks, but to take the time to really enjoy what you already have, it's a good idea. I'm really surprised at how it came out. It's so dark, and when I use it in a fountain pen, it's often barely legible because it's such a pale ink, but now with the thick layer on, it's so beautiful. So let's keep going on our purple transition. This one of the first ink that I got. I love it. It's such a nice blue purple, and it really changes as it dries. And you can see as the ink is getting lighter because my brush is less saturated. And it's a nice light blue with a hint of purple, and it shifts. I think it gets, from memory, it gets purpler as it dries out. And here, just to have a little fun, let's do a little wash of water. I think that often we try to have hobbies to be good at them, and it's fun to just like paint without any expectation. I'm not trying to make it look pretty, well, a little bit, but it's more about just playing with my inks and showing them to you and having a fun little time. Purple Mist, I was pretty disappointed at it when I got it because it was so light. I think now it has like dried up a little and it's more concentrated, but in fountain pen it was really hard to read. As you can see, it can get pretty light. Here's another one of my favorite pinks. I really like pastel colors, but it's such a hard one because you want it to be dark enough that you're able to read it. Try to do some peonies. I think it's perfect color. I got a sample for this one and I really want to get it. It's so pretty. It doesn't have as much shading as I would think, but I think with the brush it's gonna make quite a difference. Oh, I have so little left. I won't be able to resist the urge. I don't think I have any left, but another one of my favorite purple is the Pelican 4001. Oh, great. I'll have to do a little more leaves. El Bouquet. And of course, lastly, what would it be without a nice sky blue? So this is like such a nice pool color. Let me see. I've done flowers. I keep doing flowers. I could just like this one too is quite a pale ink. I think it would be more suited for June or July. It really makes me think of turquoise sea. Now, if you want a like bright blue, Bleu Pervenche is quite nice. Do some little, like I don't know flower shapes anymore. Some little tulips right there. Well, that one is more like a claw. But this one is so saturated and bright. Really nice. I think it's pretty close to the Amairo ink, so let's compare them. I'm going to put it right next to each other. It's going to be hard to differentiate there, but I think it's maybe a little bluer. There's like the tiniest bit of green on the Pervenche blue. So close. But then maybe Peki will be even closer to Pervenche. It's like the meme with the two purple nail polishes. Two different colors. I swear. I need them all. But there I can see a slight difference. I would say that if you want a cheaper option than the Iroshizuku ink bottle, the Bleu Pervenche is pretty close to Amairo and Peki. But you see there's the slightest hint of green in there. And finally, the last blue I have is, I think it's gonna be much darker. It's Confidence Blue by Monteverde. That one, oh, looks so dark in the bottle. I didn't remember it being so much purpler. I'm not sure if purpler is a thing. Isn't it so relaxing? I hope you're having fun with your inks. And just to finish my little art piece, I'll do some leaves and stems from my little tulips and other random flowers. Obviously, I don't do that every month. The first month that I tried it, and you know what? It was very fun. But now I have to choose. So I'm gonna wash my pens. Of course, since I bought my vanishing point, I've been using it every month. I think I'm gonna ink it with the purple mist. And then for the blues, I had used the Amairo last month. So should I get a try Peki? So I would have a purple, a blue, and then for pink, I'm gonna take a break from my Ikada just to like not use the same ink for 3 months in a row. Let's do this, and I'll be back with my choices. So as I said earlier, sometimes I choose the ink first, sometimes the pen first, and my artwork. So I know I'm gonna use my vanishing point. I wanted to use my Caran, so I think I will pair it with the Bouquet d'Antan. And then I know that I want a blue and a green. let's try and figure out in which pen I want to put them. So I think also like what size of nib I want. I think for the blue I would go with a fine nib. So I could take one of my Lamys. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'd like a clear pen to go with those. I think I would pick those today. So purple, pink, green, and blue. I think so. If you don't have inky fingers, are you even a fountain pen user? So I have been using the famous or infamous 140 cartridge, and I just fill it with a syringe to get it full. I like the little beads. I like seeing how easy it is to clean up. So that's why I've been using it. And also I have 4 inks for a month and trying to go through them. I don't mind the little cartridge. And because I'm impatient, I like to still dip the nib in there. I had some issues, like the second time I tried the pen, it was clicked, and when I was screwing it, it would like leak all the way inside. That wasn't fun. We're good. Maybe it's gonna be the first bottle I finish. Who knows? And I really don't mind that it doesn't fill all the way up, because as I said, the goal is to use up all the ink by the end of the month. You always have to try twice. You know, I want to align the little Lamy logo with the top. And I said, lastly, a little blue. Sometimes I also try to think about how they all work together. And because I've got a huge selection of like pastel inks, I think I should get a deeper blue to go with the rest. So this is Bleu Océan. It's a blue with gold shimmers. I think would work great with the purple, the pink, and the little misty green there. You want to shake it first so you get some of the shimmer particles. Again, I think it's plenty for a month. I don't have to make the biggest fill that I can. Got our nice little May selection. So now we do our little homework and put them there. I'll take the blue to right. Oh, nearly had an accident. I do a little 5, 6. There's cat hair everywhere, of course. This is the cat mom life. And I like to do a little frame so you can see the color better. Wow, there's quite a lot of feathering. I think it's because I didn't absorb enough of the ink that I drew up. That extra fine nib is so fine. I think it's one of the finest Lamy nib I have. It's the LX one. So 162 filler. And our purple. As you can see, it develops like bluer hues as it dries. Oh, it's just 2 months in a row, not 3. So the next step would be to prepare my bullet journal for the month. I'm not using my bullet journal a lot At the moment, I'm more using digital planning, but I still have my long form journal where I'm not gonna show you. There's that, and there's also some lines a day where, like, for 5 years, you write a few lines every day. So I mostly use my fountain pen for that. So tell me if you enjoyed that type of video. Are you inking all your pens, or are you picking a few? And if so, what are the colors you chose for the month of May? I'll see you very soon. Take care.